I want to make this clear. I am not hating on Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I actually do enjoy this game a lot. And we just got a recent balance patch for Sparking Zero. However, it fixed the game in some areas and made it worse in a lot other. I'm tired of social media doing this thing where like people have genuine critiques and y'all just write it off because it's negative. But a lot of these critiques I've been seeing on social media is warranted. The conversation for balancing and competitive is another thing I'm gonna talk about very soon on this channel, so stay tuned for that. However, there's a lot of things that I think Dragon Ball Sparking Zero needs to fix for the future of this game. A lot of the things I will talk about in this video are downright groundbreaking, making the game less fun for people that want to grind the game and get better at it, even for an online experience, and could potentially hurt the game in the long run with this drop off. Every suggestion I make here ain't perfect, but I do want people to know that there's a lot of things that Sparking Zero still needs to fix even after this patch. So I'm gonna go through the list of them and let's talk about them. So dear Bandai Namco, please fix Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Number one, the biggest one and the biggest elephant in the room that may or may not still haven't been addressed for some people. Game data deleting bug. Game save data has been deleted from a lot of people who've played this game. This is a horrendous problem where after you load the game up, you lose entirely all of your save data. Now, if you're playing on PS Plus or Xbox where they have cloud storage, always back up your save data in the game's cloud, but that shouldn't have to be done at all. For a fighting game, this wouldn't even be an issue if we didn't have to unlock characters over and over again. I'm not all for monetization. However, if you let people pay like $1 or $2 to unlock all the characters, if this is going to be a recurring bug, I'd rather pay up for that as well. In terms of people that want to run community or offline events, like would pay for $1 or $2 for it would be so much of a blessing. Even for people that want to run events, or even you guys, man, if y'all don't have save data systems already. In Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, only 47 out of 180 characters are available. And you either have to play story mode to unlock them or grind Zenny to buy the characters in game. And it doesn't help that some characters are only locked behind like your player level or your power level. And I think the max is 20. And I still ain't got everybody to buy at that point, even just playing online. I haven't touched story mode at all, and I still ain't got all the characters in the shop yet. After 75 hours plus of playtime in Sparking Zero so far. Yeah, I could just grind them out doing via world tournament and stuff like that, but hey, now this one is making me where I don't want to play this game every day, and this needs to be fixed at least, like, I know y'all just gave us a patch, but it has to be fixed in the next 2 weeks, bro, or please sooner. Control schemes. So, before we got the patch, we had a big glitch where in Sparking Zero, if one player was on apparently classic controls and another player was on standard, the game would just hold you. Meaning the classic control player will legitimately just lose out on like one of their blast stock moves or their special moves, and it was very annoying because certain moves obviously do different damage values, etc. So y'all already at this point talked about fixing the control bug glitch that will lock you out of these blast stocks, etc. However, the truth about the glitch was that it can happen on both control schemes, such as classic and standard, which they did recently just patch yesterday. But now we get a whole set of new problems with Sparking Zero's classic controls. They made classic controls even worse, or the game just feels very worse on classic controls. For starters, on classic controls, doing grabs is very annoying now. A lot of the times, if you know how it worked in Sparking Zero, it'll make you do this step in and then you get the grab animation. Even if you try to do the button and hold method, it still does it. I've had instances where like I had them step in 2 to 4 times, even more than the norm. I've taught y'all how to do the quick grab, like, and I can't get the grab out. It's very frustrating, very annoying, and it's making it, especially people that hold perception, it's making the game very annoying as hell and giving them a chance to counter from just being brain dead, and it's not a fun experience altogether. How y'all can fix this is, number one, fix the glitch altogether and a lot of things like that. So if you see anybody said they fixed Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, no the hell they didn't. Stop the cap. I think one thing they can do outside of fixing the glitch for that, which they'll probably get on it when they get the chance to tell us another update is coming, I think I will improve the customization on the control scheme altogether. I think it's very whack that some moves or certain abilities, you can only change them to a face buttons or a certain button on the controller. Why? Let me change it to whatever you want me to use it on. It's also contradicting that they have that because they wanted people to switch with using L3 or R3, and sometimes that glitches out as well, where the game doesn't function at all at that point. That is probably the most weirdest switch mechanic I've ever seen in a video game at all. It worked with Naruto because you can flick the analog stick in a corresponding direction of your assist. If you flick left in Storm, you get the left assist. If you flick the right, you get the other. They want you to do a Call of Duty tag sprint to hold up the menu to switch on base controls. Let people customize that way more however they feel fit, man. That's a very weird thing to do in a fighting game. That's one thing I love about fighting games is the accessibility factors of them. And then somebody gonna say, well, Yaya, they gave you 2 control schemes. Well, you should be able to customize them like that. If I say what I want to say, I get suspended. I lose my channel. Like on standard controls, if you're playing on them, you don't have that many customization options as classic. I think that's really whack. They need to fix that. Take that out. Do something about that. Now, this is about the online play of Sparking Zero, and one thing that grinds my gears about the game. I have to talk about it in this way. In Sparking Zero, playing online is very fun, but it also has critical flaws, and I cannot believe I'm even going to point this out here. Thank you, Bandai Namco, for adding lobbies. I strongly believe if your game doesn't have lobbies, especially in a fighting game, your game is pretty garbage, or at least a 5 out of 10. It is so excusable, and you could just hurt people playing your game like this, and you can't build communities without having people playing it anyway. Like, Bleach needs to have this, Hunter x Hunter, and so on in the future. The problem is the lack of queuing for quick play or player match. This is a major oversight, and I'll tell you why. This needs to be addressed quickly. Quick play is essential for players who want to jump into matches without the hassle of navigating lobbies. It provides a streamlined experience for those looking for casual matches or quick gaming sessions. Without this feature, the online experience feels incomplete and less accessible to a broader player base. Now, this is where the video gets somewhat controversial, and I don't want to be so deep into the balancing side of things because I know how the community was about balancing when the game first got revealed and showed off. A lot of people were like, no, take balancing out. At the same time, a lot of people were like, yo, balance this and do this. I don't want them to change how characters work per se, but certain values and system mechanics need to be changed for the future and the health of the game. Like I said, I don't want to go deeper into balancing situations because that's a whole other conversation for another day. I don't know why this community feels like balancing the game is just taking away the fun, especially in anime games where we had balance patches in the past that have always done more good and made the product better than it was before. It's not like Mortal Kombat balancing, right? I love MK, where they just completely just take some shit out the game. When that's just one instance, they ain't did that in so long. In anime games, they usually fix stuff and you can still use the stuff in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't see the problem. Now, this is something I want to talk about the game. And I think this is the worst part of Sparking Zero. I'm saying this first time on the record, and I'm not going to go too into detail. If y'all want me to go into deeper detail, I will in the future. Vanishing Wars suck in Sparking Zero. I hate them so much. Vanishing Wars in Sparking Zero is very weird because it is seemingly a forced interaction. And a lot of times somebody will say, well, Yaya, you can just super counter the thing, man. Listen, if you super counter a Vanish War, which is pretty good, you have to do it completely back to back. It resets the Vanish War or the amount of vanishes you have in it or something like that. So it's like you could do the whole mini game from the scratch again. It's so freaking annoying. This is a problem with a game I did not expect to be this annoying. In the older Tenkaichi games, there were Vanish Wars, but they were way closer and faster in the game. They can go into it for a while too, but the speed and pace of them is drastically different for like chore personally in Sparking Zero than the previous Sparking games. And I don't know if this is 100% true, but it felt like Vanish Wars were way faster, snappier, and like Tenkaichi 2 and 3, and harder to consistently keep going compared to Sparking Zero. The window feels very homogenized to where like, all right, there's a lot of leeway. As long as you got key, you shouldn't really lose advantage unless it starts lagging. AKA, I talked to Vox, AKA Dom, one of the TNS players, and here are some suggestions for fixing Vanishing Wars altogether. But before I go into his suggestions, here are my suggestions to making Vanishing Wars more fun in the game. He might not agree with this, but I personally feel like Vanishing Wars should add or become another mini game, such as like an Impact Clash or another type of clash. There was one in the story mode of Tenkaichi that was pretty cool, where like people was like bouncing, you heard the boom, 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 boom. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a couple buttons on the screen. I haven't seen that in this game like that, or they might have just made it into another clash where I'm not thinking about it. I think making that into a mini clash scenario is really strong for the future of Sparking Zero, because that way it could be a mini game, you get it over with, it makes the game speed go faster and you get back to the game. But again, I feel like the reason why I don't want to do that method is because that takes away the core essence of what makes Tenkaichi, heck, Radiant Blast, and any other game of its series the way it is. So Vox has some ideas for fixing Vanishing Wars that I think is pretty good for the game that I didn't even know about, wasn't that aware of. Number one, I think they should purposely limit how many vanishes you do get in a game. I think up to 3 to 4 is perfectly fine. Like, after that 4th one, it should be just really hard. Like, you gotta be like frame perfect to get it off to continue it. At that way, it feels more skillful instead of seeing people just vanish back and forth, and it's not as fast as it used to be in the old game, so it's not as exhilarating at all either, personally. Number 2, make the vanishes not give skill gauge. I found out this morning, I never thought about this either. I never looked at it, I never really cared, because usually I have my own strategy to beat Vanish Wars. If I have more ki than you, I'm gonna just let you hit me. If you had too much ki, I'm gonna play the mini game so you can run out of ki so you can't pop me with a super if I do lose it. Those are my strategies to beat Vanishing Wars. But what I learned is that Vanishing Wars does give you at least a 10 to 15, maybe even 25% skill gauge increase if you win a round or successfully, vanish behind someone's vanishing attack. That is why Yajirobe was really strong. Honestly, don't think Yajirobe needed the nerfs that he needed, be honest with you. But they did nerf him in a way that I was like, all right, it makes more sense. He shouldn't have had 2 skill counts from the top. So personally, for me, when it comes to the Vanishing Wars, I think they just need to work on them completely all together. I want to go deeper into the classic control bugs before we end off this video. So real rap, with classic controls, the buttons don't work at all like that, and it feels very stupid that a lot of things have gotten worse since the last patch of the game. So some known classic bugs or other things of that nature that you will see is you have the O input throw key blast bug, rush attacks drop despite mashing, skill combos can come out instead of ults, special auto boost. When you use a special move, it automatically makes you boost a lot of times, which is very annoying. Short dash doesn't come out while blocking, which makes the input toggle between dash and ascending and descending very weird and inconsistent now. Grab forces 2 steps ins. Instant spark comes out as a deflect, which is very bad for this game, because if you know how instant spark works, you can lose if you're not prepared for it. And also, grab will come out instead of a homing dash. Why the hell would that happen? A lot of problems with the classic control bugs that has been reported over the past 24 hours from various different players in the community, Twitter, and other things I may need. So here's the list on the screen that Dom gave me. Outside of my gripes with Sparking Zero, this game is still fun and very enjoyable. Personally, I'm not trying to make this game Evo competitive or change how the game works. Damn, the sirens coming for me. They like, hold on, we gonna have to stop him from recording this. Even though I want to see this game up there with the other likes of fighting games and being other places where it has a big stage with arena fighters, because I love arena fighters, I'm not trying to balance the game to make it an esport. I'm trying to balance the game to make it more fun for everybody that's consistently and constantly will be playing this game for years to come. Balancing isn't just for competitive integrity. Balancing is just to make the online environment and the community just happy overall. I truly do like a lot of aspects of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and I still will be making content for y'all on this game, bruh. Don't get it twisted. But I do want to say there's a lot of things that annoy me about Sparking Zero currently with this game, which I tried to tell people at Evo this year. So dear Bandai Namco, dear Dragon Ball Games Twitter, if y'all see this video, if y'all need me to write this out and translate it for y'all, I will 100% do that. Please look at these videos, these messages. I need y'all to know that this game is fun, but it's not perfect right now. So, Avataryaya, drop y'all bugs and things down below. I'll let this video sit for like a day or two and then tweet out the bugs as well. So I want everybody input of things that they may have been feeling or experiencing across the board right now. Remember, you guys are golden and NAD is raw. Squalla, peace, and I'm out.
And I swear I never felt like this. Yeah, 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 yeah. Alright, who's next?
Let's see who's stronger.